Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. Today we're going to talk about the 400 by 400 waste grid. And there's been a lot of questions on the forum about how to use it, and I wanted to cover it today. I've updated the waste grid. I've done it in standard measurements and metric. So you've got those two. Also on there, I've got the extended bed with the 10 millimeter squares for up to, I don't know, 800 something millimeters tall for the Tour. I did it for the Tour extension kit, and but it can be used on any laser. But I wanted to get an in-depth tutorial on how to use it so that it answers some questions, and also so that I can post this over on the forum for like a Q&A for the people that are downloading it for the first time. So let's jump over into the tutorial real quick in Lightburn and get this done. Alright, so this is a video on how to use the 400 by 400 grid. I am right now at lahobbyguy.com on the forums, and on the main page you'll see the members only files and downloads. If we click on that and we come down here, we're going to look for the 400 by 400 grid. Here is the updated 400 by 400 waste grid 12/18/2022. If we click on that, you will see that this was just updated on 12/18. This is a generic wasteboard grid for general use on any laser that is 390 by 390 or larger, which is most of your standard lasers. And the reason why it's 390 by 390 or larger is because a lot of lasers are going to have a problem hitting that entire 400 by 400. It seems to be a problem lately. Never used to be, but lately it is. So this is scaled down so that you don't use the entire workbed, but you still get maximum use out of it. So here you'll see I have the standard version, which is in inches, and then below that, and that's called standard version 2. And then below that I've got the metric version, which is in metric measurements, millimeters. And then below that is 10 millimeter spacing. A lot of people like to have the same grid that they see in Lightburn, and if you change your grid spacing to 10 millimeters, it will be exactly like what you burn on the waste grid. Down below are the attachments. You can right click and save any of these to your hard drive and open them up. When you open this up on your hard drive, this is what you're going to see. I have the metric one loaded right now, and basically you're going to set these up to burn based on your laser. Now, when you first open this file, you're going to see these notes, these project notes right here, and you can make this window bigger if you'd like to read it. Anytime you want to get back to these notes, you just click File, Show Notes up in the top left-hand corner. This will explain to you everything that needs to be done here. So the layers, now this file was designed for a 5.5 watt optical output laser. These layers over here were designed for that, and here they are listed out right here. The red layer is 1500 speed, 80 power. The blue layer is 2000 speed, 65 power, and this will burn nicely on any 5.5 watt laser onto a waste grid, excuse me. It'll take about 11 minutes to burn this on a 5 watt laser at these speeds, and you need to adjust your laser accordingly based on your output. So if you have a 10 watt laser, well, then you'll definitely want to speed it up and lower the power a little bit. You always have to make sure that you focus your laser properly. On some machines that may even be a problem getting down to focus on the waste grid, so you'll need to have some kind of workaround for that. Many machines will allow you to focus all the way down to the waste board, and some will not, so that's something you may have to work out. The first steps on this is going to be to select the grid. I'm going to show you all this now, but these are all of the steps, and these are the repeat use steps down below over here. Again, anytime you need to get to them, click up here, File, and then go to Show Notes, and there they are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the control key and the letter A, and that will select everything that is on the workbed. And if this wasn't perfectly centered when you first open the program, well then all you want to do is come up here and click this little bullseye, not the bullseye but the plus sign, move to center of page. Your version of Lightburn may look slightly different. You may not have that. You may have this. You will still have this crosshair over here where you can click on, and then you would go over here and click on move to page center. If you do have this short version, you're better off unchecking that. Uncheck the arrange right here. Check the arrange long so that you have the full toolbar and you have all the icons to use. And then just go ahead and click this plus right here. That will center this on the middle of your workbed. And now you're ready to burn. All you have to do is check your speed and your power, and you burn this off. You focus your laser, you burn this off. This is now on your waste grid. It's there forever. And at this point, we're going to do the control and letter A again to select everything. And we're going to put this on a tool path, either the T1 or the T2. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to save this for future reference. Now, if we pass our mouse over any of the lines, you'll see that it's going to turn into a selection tool. Right click. Come down here to lock selected shapes. Left click. Now this is locked forever, can't be moved. You're now going to save as, file save as, and save this file as your Lightburn design template. That is the name that I would give it. So you click on save as, fill it out as Lightburn design template, and now you have a template on your work area here that you can design from. If you were to take something from your library, your art library, or any graphic that you've got and bring it into the work area like so, you'd size it to whatever you need, snap it into one of the squares, and now you know that if you dropped a 100mm by 100mm piece of wood into this square on your wasteboard, that this graphic right here would burn perfectly and you wouldn't need to frame it. So this is the beauty of using this. Now another thing, now that it's locked forever. So if you grabbed everything like this, selected all of these parts right here and hit the delete key, the only thing that's going to delete is the graphic that's on your actual workbed. This tool path will stay here forever because we've got it locked. You can tell that it's locked because there's a crosshair in every corner. So this is how you use the 400 by 400 waste grid. Okay, so there you have it. Another quick, easy tutorial. Hey, I'm getting pretty good at these quick videos, aren't I? Lately anyway, but don't worry, that's not going to last. Anyway, I wanted to cover some of the things that you might want to look out for with this, and let me explain to you the reason why I designed it the way that I did. And on the 400 by 400, you're going to find out that it's about 380 or less the size, and that's because some lasers can't do the entire 400 by 400. The newer modules lately have seemed to be interfering with some of the frames. So you don't need to have the whole 400 by 400. Basically what you're looking to do might be 9 coasters, or a 300 by 300 piece of wood, 8 by 12 piece of wood, 12 by 12 piece of wood. All of these can fit into your waste grid. So and that's if you're doing one-offs or if you're doing coasters, this is going to be just absolutely perfect for you. But the thing to watch out for is don't ever save the file. So it really wouldn't matter because you could just select everything on it and delete it. But you want to have that one particular file, the 400 by 400 that you've downloaded, to burn the waste grid in case you change your waste grid in the future. So you're going to want to be able to burn it again. And then you're going to want to do a file save as once you've got it burned, and save that one as Lightburn template, so you always open the same file to work in Lightburn with your graphics, so that you don't have to frame anymore. And that's important, that you don't save it. You know, you'll always go to the same file, and it'll always be in your recent files. So you could just do File, Recent Files. It'll be right there, Lightburn template, and that's where you start your designing. You can go ahead and push down on your mouse wheel and slide that whole thing off to the side. Do all the designing you want on the white space to the right of the grid. And then when you're done, go ahead and position it on the grid and line it up with the waste grid that you've got and the grid on your screen. You know, a lot of people, they work in current position and user origin, and even some companies teach you the wrong way to use a laser by using those two positions. I don't even think they should be there in Lightburn. I think everything should be absolute coordinates, and it's important that you're working in absolute coordinates when you're doing this, because you want your laser to go to that absolute coordinate to start the job. So you have to be in absolute coordinates, and if you are, and if you home your laser in between jobs, and that's important. Now, some lasers may not need to be. The 8er, I don't ever have to home it except once, but some of the other lasers that I have, the 2 trees, has to be homed in between every job. So for safety's sake, just go ahead and home the laser before the job, and that way you'll know that it will go to exactly the coordinates where you laid your wood down on the waste grid and where you designed your graphics in Lightburn. So learn to work in absolute coordinates with a waste grid, because it just makes life so much easier, where you don't have to be framing any of your work. And I know I've done a couple of videos on, you know, tips and tricks on how to frame perfectly, put down a sheet of paper, you know, burn the square the size of your wood onto the paper, and then drop your wood onto that square, stuff like that. But this is so much easier, and it's permanent. Now, you do have to have your laser attached permanently to the waste board. Now, I can tell you that some people are going to say, well, but I like to use the roller. And there are all kinds of workarounds about that. So, you know, just think about it for a minute. If you have, like, let's say you have an X tool, you have the little round legs, you can download the STL file for a 3D printer off of any website nowadays. They're all over the place for the legs for the X tool. Drop them onto the waste board, position your laser, and plug them into those 3D printed legs, and then screw them down. Then you can pull it in and out whenever you want. You can raise it up for your to do your roller accessory and things like that. And if you don't have a 3D printer, well, you can just take any piece of wood and measure the leg on the X tool, for instance, or any laser. Cut the circle out of the wood, put those 4 pieces of wood down, position your laser until it drops into all 4, get it square, screw them into place, and now you have the 4 holes for the legs, and you can take your laser out anytime you want, raise it up, use your roller accessory, and so on. So anyway, I hope this cleared up a whole bunch of issues on using the 400 by 400 template. I know it's going to clear up issues on the forum, and I hope this helps you out. So as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.